Welcome in Craft and Design 3.0 for my dear audience. In this video, I will describe some different and most beautiful ideas of dimetal dimetal project and metal design and different metal crafts. Dear audience, when we talk about metal made things, then word metal is explanation is essential, like as metal is a material that when freshly prepared, polished and fractured shows a lustrous appearance and fractured, and metal are typically it can be a conduct electricity and heat relatively well. So metal are typically ductile, can be drawn into wires and malleable. They can be hammered into the sheet, thin sheet. So these properties are the results of the metallic bond between the atoms and molecules of the metal. So metal may be a chemical element such as iron and alloy, such as a stainless steel, molecular compound such as polymeric sulfur nitride. So metal is generally regarded as a substance capable of conducting electricity at a temperature of absolute zero. But my dear audience, especially in my video, I prescribe metal made things for a different purpose, like as a, decoration purpose, decorations in our sitting room, in our house, in our home, in our small lawn, in our garden, a big garden for for beautifulness purpose, or for the I think that in any ceremonies also you can use it, or for children playing games also you can use it. So especially I prescribe in my video is uh, a big gardener, and big gardener beauteousness, and so as we can use it as an atmospheric pressure. And when we talk about its properties, a metal property, then metals are shiny and lustrous, at least when freshly prepared, polished or fractured sheets of metal thicker and than a few micrometer appears opaque, but gold leaf transmits a green light. So the solid or liquid state of metal largely uh, originates in the capacity of the metal atoms involved to readily lose their outer shell electrons broadly. The forces holding an individual atom's outer shell electrons in place are weaker than the attractive forces on the same electrons arising from interaction between the atoms in the solid or liquid metal. So the electrons involved become delocalized, and the atom's structure of the metal can effectively be visualized as a collection of atoms embedded in a cloud of relatively immobile electrons. So this type of interaction is called a metallic bond. So the strength of metallic bond for different elemental metal reaches a maximum around the center of the transition metal series, as these elements have large number of uh, delocalized electrons. So although most elemental metal have higher densities than most non-metal, so there is a wide variation in their densities, lithium being the least dense and osmium the most dense. So some of 6D transition metal are expected to be denser than osmium, but prediction on their densities vary widely in the literature, and in any case, their known isotopes are too unstable for bulk production to be possible. So, magnesium, aluminium, and titanium are light metal of significant commercial uh, importance. So their respective densities of 1.7 and 2.7 and 4.5 can be compared to those of the older structural metal like iron at 7.9 and copper at 8.9 gram per cubic centimeter. So an iron ball would thus weigh about as much as three aluminium balls of equal volume. So some metal are typically malleable and ductile, deforming under stress without cleaving. So the non-directional nature of metallic bonding is though to contribute significantly to the ductility of most metallic solids. In contrast, in an ionic compound like table salt, when the planes of an ionic bond slide past one another. So the restaurant change in location shift ions of the same charge closer, so resulting in the cleavage of the crystal, such as shift is not observed in a covalently bond crystal, such as a diamond, where fracture and crystal fragmentation occurs. So, revisable elastic deformation in metal can be described by Hooke's law of our restoring force, where the stress is linearly proportional to the strain. I think that, my dear audience, I especially, I think that uh, I prescribe is essential for high engineering procedure, and we can use it by these procedure and these laws. We can make it easy way for making a thing, for making a project, different project for personal, for our refreshment of our mind. We can say that for learning process in any school, in any colleges, in is any institution of education, or any institution of our earning procedure for our income, for our beginner learning, and different other, I say that for beautiful locations we can use these ideas, these crafts, these metal designs in different countries, use different types and different kinds of design and crafts in their own choices. So the some atoms, which is of metallic substances, are typically arranged as like is one of the three common crystal structure, namely body, center cubic, and face center cubic, and hexagonal closed packed in BCC. So each atom is positioned at the center of a cube of eight other. So in FCC and HCP, each atom is surrounded by 12 other, but the stacking of the layer differs. Some metal adopt different structure depending on the temperature. So, my dear guys, some metal are usually inclined to form cations through electrons or ions. Most will react with oxygen in the air to form oxides over various time scale. Dear audience, it can be a great things which I prescribe, because these mixing elements is essential for prescription, because these are for boarded something. It can be a chemical reactions, for knowing is essential, like as for making a things palladium or platinum and some gold mixtures don't react with the atmospheric at all. Gold even forms compound where it gain an electrons and uh, oroids, calcium, oride. So the oxides of metal are often basics as opposed to those of non-metal, which are acidic or neutral. So exception are largely oxides with a very high oxidation state, such as chromium and manganese dioxide, and so which have strictly acidic reaction, and oxides of the less electropositive metals such as Bo and Ar2O3 and ionic compounds, so which can display both basic and acidic properties. So these are termed photeric oxides and different categories. So, dear audience, some metal category can be according to their physical or chemical properties, because for knowing is essential categories, because in these categories we can make different things when we know about its interior locations or interior made uh, chemicals, we know, then we make things, these ideas, these things easily, because it can be involved in different types and different category and different point of view. So category described in the subsections below include ferrous and non-ferrous metal. So brittle metal and refractory metal, white metal, heavy and light metal, and base, noble, and precious metal. So the metallic elements uh, are used metallic in different categories and different point of view in this section category. The elemental metal on the basis of their chemical properties to alkali and alkaline earth metal, transition and post transition metal, and lengthy and antecedent. So other category are possible depending on the criteria for inclusion. For example, the ferromagnetic metal, those metal that are magnet at room temperature, or iron, cobalt, and nickel. Dear audience, uh, specifically, specifically, I also prescribed these categories and these chemical reaction and internal reaction and physical reaction, because these things are essential for making these things. I prescribe specially in my video, because it can be molded and highly temperature are used in these for making these things. So for making these things is also essential for reactions, different reaction also essential. So in end, I also prescribe that and I think I try my best for my dear audience, for my dear guys, for my dear learner, um, for understanding the basic terminology of metal and metallic made things, like as any welding project or different other welding craft and different welding made things design or metal made things design. I try my best in your my dear audience favor. So I think that my video and my idea I prescribe in my video much inspired you and much inspired my learner, my inspired in any college student, in any children of my dear guys. So dear guys, if my idea and my video inspired you much, then subscribe my channel, like my video, and share my video with your affectionate love. So thank you very much guys for watching my video once again. Thank you very much.